Joining us now, jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine. She's in Orlando, Florida. And Susan, we've been talking throughout this trial together, and you have made no bones about it. You didn't believe Amber Heard, her stories, and the jury seemed to agree with you. Your thoughts on the verdict and the fact that they did award Amber $2 million. There was something there that turned the jury off about Johnny Depp.
Yes, you know, from the very beginning. I'm sorry, I'm hearing an echo in my. Go on to the next.
Yeah, let's. That's the old Daryl. You're up. Your thoughts, Daryl, on this verdict? Was it what you expected, and what stands out to you about what the jury decided?
It's an incredible verdict. A great victory for Johnny Depp and his attorney, Camille Vasquez. What stands out is the number of witnesses that were presented, the levels of information that was provided. But what really resonates with me is the relationship that was developed with Vasquez and Johnny Depp. It seemed like they had spent a lot of time working and preparing, and she did an incredible job, methodical job of being able to have a trial strategy, to stick to it, to bring out the things that she needed in order to get to her closing argument. So a wonderful, incredible insight for the public to see how a trial is presented very well, very sharply, very meticulous, and how the attorney was able to project through her client their position and how they were able to get that to the jury.
The jury gave Johnny Depp $10 million compensatory, but then $5 million in punitive damages. That was curtailed a bit from the judge, legally. Let's listen to the judge's explanation on that, and then we'll talk about the significance of those punitive damages.
In accordance with law, I will amend the punitive damages award to the statutory cap of $350,000 on Mr. Depp's award, okay?
So it's the law, Susan. However, the message is pretty clear. That's different, isn't it? Now, the punitive damage part of this decision by this jury speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
It sure does. And in fact, you know, oh, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Susan.
Yes, you know, and that's a very good point, too, because after the jury has heard everything, and I believe that they made that decision very quickly. We saw that verdict come back very quickly. I think that they saw through all of this, and they felt like, you know, that she was malicious. And the fact that she went through so much, I mean, taking videotapes and photographing and all of the comments that she made and the histrionics, I think that this jury says, you know what, you're going to pay not only $10 million, but you're also going to pay another $5 million just because you were so malicious. That's the punitive damage. That's a slap on the hand. That's the additional, you know, word saying you did wrong, and we believe that you are malicious.
Susan, the bottom line here is that people, over the course of 6 weeks, it's a long time. Johnny Depp took the stand. Amber Heard took the stand twice. There was a real feeling that one of the two was lying. One of the two had to have been lying, and the jury concurred with public opinion. Did the jury get this right? And there's this other element out there that, okay, this maybe puts back real victims, if you will, real victims of domestic violence, that this could send the wrong message for people worried about coming forward. They might get Amber Hearded, you know, they might get ridiculed. What are your thoughts in terms of the ramifications of this jury's decision and this trial in general?
Well, I think that hopefully this is what I'm hoping that we'll gain from this, is that we will also open up the idea that men can also be abused. It's not just one way. You know, I had the privilege of working with and doing witness preparation for one of the Jeffrey Epstein sexual victims. And I got to tell you, you know, when I've been face to face and working with a client was truly victimized by a perpetrator, this to me was a mockery to those people that were true survivors. And I really hope that this opens up the discussion that it doesn't happen just one way. It happens the other way too. So I'm really glad that the truth came out. And I think the jury got it right from the very beginning. My position never changed because I saw the deception. That's what I do for a living. I read people. We've analyzed every bit of their statements, her voice, her statement analysis, her behavioral analysis, and all of it was off the charts deceptive. And I'm so glad that the jury read through it. So that's what my feeling is about this case moving forward.
All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. Let's still with us, jury consultant, human behavior expert Susan Constantine in Orlando, Florida, and criminal defense attorney Daryl Stallworth in Oakland, California. Susan, do you, when you look at those texts and analyze what is being said, the ones that were not introduced because of the court's ruling at trial, would they have made a difference? Because there did seem to be a sense of admission of guilt on that Boston flight specifically, which was a big part of this. You know, this is one of those stories. There were several, but that was one of them, and one that at the end of the day, the jury must not have believed Amber Heard. Would those texts had made a difference? And the voice behind those texts sure does seem like someone who is acknowledging some bad behavior.
Yes, I mean, I think that the texts are important to analyze, but statement analysis in itself is really up for some people's interpretation, especially when they're not experts, to analyze it. So when I'm reading those text messages, what is the message behind it? You know, every single word has meaning. Every pronoun has meaning. The context has meaning, and it all tells a story about what really happened. I do believe, and I've shared this on Court TV and other times, is that I do believe that there was some sort of altercation. Now, whether there was a physical altercation, there was something that occurred there. So could they use that and say, hey, you know, that there was something that happened and that the jury disregarded it? It's possible. But I don't think that it's strong enough yet to really really use towards the appeal.
She's going to need some help, is she not, to dig her feet in and try to get over this, because this is not just about $8 million. This is about reputation. It's about what she's already endured on some level, but you have Johnny Depp, you know, peacocking around the UK. He's the big winner. She now is, you know, the mother of a young child, and from your perspective, what does she need to do to get over this?
Yes, I think that she needs intense counseling. I really think that she really needs to take the advice of the psychiatrist, Johnny Depp psychiatrist. I do believe, I mean, I have a master's degree in psychology. I know what dangerous demeanor and also histrionic disorder looks like, and that's what she has. I think that she really needs to go back, take time to percolate over everything, get to a place where she says, I'm open and willing to have some intensive counseling. She has a daughter. Start picking up from there. Family first, career second. That's what I think.
Yeah, a civil case, nobody's dead, nobody's going to jail, but yet there are lives that are affected by these across the country, and Amber Heard is really going to have a tough road ahead, one would think. Still with us, jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine in Orlando, Florida. And Susan, from a human behavior standpoint, what is it that we love about Camille Vasquez? What is it that, because we're all attracted to her ability to communicate, right? I mean, there seems to be a realness or something there. When you analyze her, what is it that stands out?
Well, first of all, I have to agree with your other guest. He was so spot on every single point. And the thing is that she's fearless. She commands the presence of that room. And when you watch her facial expressions, and she'll lift her eyebrows and she'll lean in, and she's very commanding. Her voice inflection, her tonality, her just that little bit of sharp edge to her tone. She's a little mini powerhouse, but boy, she can really pack a punch. And when I watch her, she rivets me. I would want to watch her for hours on hours, because her presentation of what I would suggest is what would, you know, amplify what I think, exemplify, excuse me, of what a powerful leader, someone that took control of that courtroom, that gained the presence and the attention of everyone, and that is Camille. She is a powerhouse. Good going.
And Susan, last word on this. When you look at her, she's obviously not used to the limelight. She's an attorney. She does a lot of work. A lot of that work is not in a courtroom, too. As Daryl said, it's preparation. Is it going to be difficult for her to negotiate this?
To negotiate what?
Fame. People.
Oh, to negotiate her fame? Well, I tell you what, I think that at any time, this kind of, you're just going to have to.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that right now she's on cloud nine. You know, she's one of the biggest cases there is in history, right? So right now everything is up high and she's floating on that. And, you know, there's going to be a really big expectation for her to continue on. So I think that right now she ought to think about in the moment, not think about tomorrow, because I think that she has a huge future ahead of her, and she's going to be in massive demand, no doubt.
Susan, what is it about someone like Ike? Because there's a bit of a shtick going on, right? That's a sort of his presentation, but it's comfort zone. What is it that draws us to someone like Ike?
I don't think he cares about what anybody else thinks. And so he just talks about what's on his heart, whatever his heart he wears on his sleeve. And he's not a name dropper. You know, he's the type of person that you want to have close to you. It's like your favorite uncle, right? I mean, you just want to be around him. His authenticity, his genuineness, his facial expressions, his tone of his voice, and leaning in. And he's also very objective. As you hear, he's kind of adding a little humor on both sides. Both of them, you could tell, have a really good connection with him, are reminiscing internally about their relationship with him. So I think that when you look at him, everyone's going to fall in love with him. You know, he is like, kind of reminds me of an Italian. You know, he's very expressive, and his hand gestures and his facial expressions. You know, he's kind of almost like a Sebastian comedian. I loved him. Star witness, awesome.
Susan Constantine, thank you as always for your valuable time and expertise. We really appreciate it.